more minute. All right. Good morning, everyone. If we could grab a seat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning. Happy summer. Yes, we made it to the end of the school year. We're so glad you could join us this morning. Woo, yes, thank you, Dr. Rogers. Happy summer, everyone. It is summer. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Dr. Rogers is excited to share highlights from the 23-24 school year that just ended on Friday. As you can tell, we are happy, we are excited, and we do not want to delay any further and have Dr. Rogers come up and share some of the great things that took place this school year and also what is ahead. So Dr. Rogers, welcome.
Good morning. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. As Ms. Onijala said, we are very excited that the school year has come to a close. Last Friday, when I received a message in the late afternoon from Dr. Grimm saying that we had cleared every parking lot, that is when I celebrated. So we are excited to have the students at home for a few weeks so we can regroup and get ready for this next school year. Before we get started, I just really want to thank all of you for being here. Want to recognize that we have the following attendees with us here today. Board Chair Tiara Booker-Dwyer, Board Member Jane Lichter, Board Member Amory Young, our new student member of the board, Ugoma Chikekalu, our partners in the unions, President of OPE, Nick Argyros, President of AFSCME, Brian Epps, President of ESPBC, Jeanette Young, President of TABCO, Cindy Sexton. In our council, Councilman Julian Jones. We have some delegates with us this morning. Delegate Sheila Ruth, Delegate Kathy Forbes, Delegate Ryan Naraki. We do have stakeholder group, Comité Latino from Baltimore, members of the cabinet, and everyone else who is here. Truly appreciative of your time this morning. As Ms. Onijala said, we really want to just take you through this year. What have we been up to, and what are the results of some of those efforts? So we want to begin with how we started the year. This summer, we shared that our strategy moving forward was to make sure that we engage all stakeholders across Team BCPS. It was important for us to make sure that everyone felt empowered, that they could share with us their direct experiences, as well as any suggestions for what we needed to prioritize as a school system, because we felt collectively that the only way that we, as the adults, on behalf of our students, and then following that, our students could excel is by engaging with our community. And so we spent the year doing just that. You'll see on the slide just a variety of ways that we engage with our stakeholders, whether it was community conversations, different surveys for specific area, internal and external stakeholders, including our principals, our central office staff, our teachers directly, had monthly meetings to interface with our principals and central office members to hear directly from them and share information with them right at the beginning. So everyone was very clear on our direction, and everyone had an opportunity to give us feedback. All members of cabinet. We had advisories throughout the year where we heard directly on areas of responsibility from staff members, internal and external stakeholders. And so we said from the beginning that we were going to focus on 4 priorities. One of the things that we needed to do is to really focus on what was most important. There's so many things that are important in a school system, but in order to really get the work done, we needed to make sure we were all on the same page. You've seen and you've heard throughout the year our 4 priorities. Number 1, academic achievement. We're very clear that that's our number 1 reason why we exist. We're here to make sure that all of our students are learning at high levels, and they're able to demonstrate that in a variety of measures. But in order to do that, we needed to tend to the other 3. Infrastructure, making sure that we have efficient and effective processes. Safety and climate. From both a technological standpoint as well as an adaptive standpoint, making sure that our staff and students had what they need. And lastly, it takes all of us. It really takes people to do this work. So making sure that we had highly effective teachers, leaders, and staff. When we started talking about academics with a rich focus on teaching and learning, we identified 4 main priority areas. While all of our contents really complement one another and are a part of this work, but we really wanted to focus, based on our results, on English language arts, mathematics, ESOL, and special education. At the same time, as a school district, we know that we are responsible for continuing to advance the tenets of the blueprint to make sure that the blueprint comes alive in Baltimore County Public Schools. You're familiar with those pillars, specifically early childhood education, highly quality, diverse teachers and leaders, which is in direct relation to our focus on highly effective staff, college and career readiness options for all of our students, and more resources for students to be successful. We shared during budget season what the trajectory was for students in Baltimore County Public Schools. We were able to go back and look at our data and had a group of psychometricians come up with the pathway, the specific markers that if student hit these markers along the way, it almost guaranteed that they would be college and career ready by the time that they left us, by the time that they were in high school. And so you'll see it starts very early. It starts in kindergarten. So within the first month of students being in kindergarten, when they take that kindergarten readiness assessment, their ability to demonstrate that they're ready for all the skills that the teacher are going to teach. And then we move on where you have 2 very important markers in elementary school, but I want to call your attention to those markers are in the intermediate grades. Grades 3 through 5 are considered intermediate, and the 2 markers in elementary school are both at grade 3, students being able to read at or above grade level, and then grade 5, our students' ability to perform at a proficiency level or above on the state assessments. In grade 8, algebra, students' ability to complete algebra with a grade C or higher. And in high school, there are a variety of markers that demonstrate college and career readiness. And so as we did this work this year, we met with principals, as I shared. We met with central office on a monthly basis. One of the things that we wanted to make sure that all of our staff members understood this was not just born out of our ideas, our thoughts. This was rooted in research, and there was a rich body of evidence that spoke to the steps that we were going to take as Baltimore County Public Schools to reverse the trend of declining performance. Most recently, the McKinsey Group came out with an article a few months ago titled Spark and Sustain, How All of the World's School System Can Improve Learning at Scale. And we shared that immediately with central office as well with principals. What was unique about this article, it is post-pandemic. And so it speaks to the reality that all of us are facing in school systems, not only across the United States, but also across the nation. And so I want to call your attention to a few things that really affirm the direction that we were moving in as a school system. One of the things that they say is that successful school systems anchor all change in the classroom. So that reinforced for us this focus on what was happening in our schools, in our classrooms was the right thing to do. They talked about educators really focusing on recruitment and retention of our educators and pouring into them with professional development. They also talked about the materials that we had available for our students. And so I'm grateful to our Board of Education members for continuing to support our efforts to move forward with high quality instructional materials for our students. This was the first year for elementary school. We had brand new literacy curriculum aligned to the state standards of Maryland. also rooted in the science of reading, which you'll see in a few minutes has made a significant difference in a short period of time. Making sure that we have whole child support, so that really spoke to our work around community schools, around providing more robust social emotional options for our students, and then performance management, the accountability, making sure that we were monitoring how students were doing on a regular basis, making sure not only at the school level, but also at central office, how are we doing this work? I shared before the through line. There are 3 things that school systems need in order to improve student performance. The first one is that robust curriculum, making sure that our students have access to high quality curriculum aligned to standards. We shared that for the first year, we have that for literacy in elementary school. This year coming is a pilot for grades 6 through 12 in literacy, and so we're looking forward to the following year having the similar results in an investment in curriculum. Evidence-based, whatever curriculum that we're using, while we as a school system can enhance and make tweaks based on the specific needs of our students in real time, but we have curriculum that has been tested and proven for validity and reliability, as well as fidelity of implementation, and that's our real work. As we work with the experts going out into buildings as central office, it's critical that we're in schools on a regular basis, that we're in classrooms, that we know what the curriculum says, and then that we're monitoring for implementation, ensuring that there's alignment. Curriculum is one piece of it. It doesn't work without the second piece, which is professional learning, making sure that all members of Team BCPS have the skills and knowledge that they need to do their best work. And when we talk about all members, we're talking about teachers, paraprofessionals, leaders, as well as central office. And we've invested in a lot of this work this year. And then PLCs, that's how we keep it going. How do we start to move the needle on student progress? How are we monitoring from the schoolhouse all the way to central office, making sure that teachers come together, paraprofessionals come together, and you're looking in real time. How are the students doing? And then what are we going to do when we go back into the classroom to address the gaps for those students, not the gaps of the students to come in the future, making sure that in real time we're making those adjustments to our instruction so our students can learn what they need to so that they're prepared. And so before I share the next set of slides, I do want to level set and manage some expectations. So this is good news that I'm about to share. But I also want to share that all research tells us that it probably takes about 3 years on average, particularly for large school systems, to make the changes and see the results in terms of student achievement. This year, our first year, we've invested a lot in people. A lot of people have done a lot of hard work to get to what I'm sharing with you. So you will see that the evidence shows that we're moving in the right direction. But what I also want to share is I can't even begin to imagine what we're going to see in a year or 2 from now when we have the high quality instructional materials. We have really invested in robust professional learning across the system at all levels, and we have the monitoring. That's when we're going to really see the gains for our students. However, this year we had 111,000 students that were counting on us every single day. And so I'm so grateful for the work that our leaders, our teachers did in the classroom, our paraprofessionals, because it was their work. They were reinvigorated. They went in and did their very best that led to these results. So I'm going to share a few slides on chronic absenteeism. I think we can all agree the first step is making sure that the students are in school. We can't begin to impact positively teaching and learning if we don't have students in school. What you see on this slide is efforts for the results for the end of the year. You have 3 years worth of data. This work is led by Director Dr. Kevin Roberts, Erica Hamlet, coordinator, Tamisha Peterson, attendance liaison, and Howard Franklin, PPW. A very small but mighty team who has taken this work from last summer throughout the year, and the results speak for themselves. Chronic absenteeism obviously is linked to subpar student performance. And based on the work that they did, not only in central office, but directly with schools throughout the year, you see the result. For us as a school system, oh, guess what? That's the wrong one. You're missing 23-24, but I'm going to tell you what it says anyway. 23-24, chronic absenteeism is significantly reduced. Shortly, at some point, I will change that slide out so you can see what it's like, but I'll show you the details of what makes up that number. It is significantly reduced for 23-24, but I'll show you what lives underneath it. So one of the things we have to do, we look at data in the aggregate, but we also have to look at data disaggregated by school group, by level, by student group. And so you'll see that chronic absenteeism has reduced across the system this year. In elementary schools, the most, which is very promising to us, and we're very excited about what that means for the future of Baltimore County Public Schools. Also seeing a reduction in middle school as well as a reduction in high schools. When you look at the two gender groups, you'll see that there are reductions for our male students as well as our female students. When you compare disaggregated data by student group June 11, 2023 compared to June 11, 2024, you'll see for every single student group, with the exception of Native American Pacific Islander that didn't make any change, you'll see that there is a decline in chronic absenteeism, meaning more students are coming to school, which is a great thing for us, because step one in order to engage in teaching and learning is having those students in school. But it also means that we have some students who have been chronically absent, sometime for years, that are returning back to the school. And so that makes the challenges even greater for our educators in the classroom to fill in those gaps during the year. So now we want to take a look at literacy data. We had two different screeners that our elementary schools were able to use. Because this was our first year of using Amira. So this first slide will show you our 93 elementary schools. The second slide will show you the 17 schools that chose to use Dibbles for this school year. So you'll see the data from the beginning of the year. Just to orient you, percentile rank of less than 25%. Those students need significant support in terms of reading and pre-reading skills. The yellow represents between 25 and 50 in the middle, and then percentile rank of 50 or above on track in terms of reading level. You'll see where our students were grade kindergarten first, second, and third at the beginning of the year, and then they've just taken the spring administration where they are. You'll see for red, what you want to see is that number is going down, a smaller percentage of students that are in the lowest bracket of performance for reading level. The yellow, you see in most instances, the yellow is moving up, but some students just skipped over yellow and jumped right on over to green. And so you'll see grade kindergarten to grade 3, there are gains in every single grade level. We also know the chart that you see is there for the trend line for you to see. What we know is that our students who are using Amira frequently, and frequently is defined as 30 minutes per week. We haven't seen, using an hour or more make a difference. 30 minutes is that threshold, that those students are growing at a faster rate than those students that are using Amira less frequently. The benefit of Amira is that individual feedback, and the more a student uses it, the more it understands what the needs of the students are, and it gives you short little corrections as you're using it. I went on as a user and pretended that I was a student to see the experience that our students have, and it corrects you in a friendly way, but little small increments. So the more you use it, it continues to work on those skills and build. And so we are very excited about the work that is happening in literacy. This work is led by Dr. Jen Kraft, who was our director of literacy, moving up to executive director, Dr. Wolf, for elementary in particular, who worked with Jody Wick, coordinator, and a host of amazing specialists supervisors, and resource teachers. So this was the 93 schools that were participating in AMIRA. You might say, well, what about the other schools? Because we have 110 elementary schools, these are the other 17 schools that chose to use DIBELS. For preference, everyone was already trained in DIBELS. DIBELS is different in that the teacher administers it one-on-one. It's not administered on the computer. And so IS as a key is students requiring intensive support, SS strategic support, and then CS core support. Same color coding as you just saw with AMIRA. So you see our data from the beginning of the year representing those 17 schools, and then you see where we are at the end of the school year as well. Likewise, you see that some students skipped over the strategic support, or maybe in the middle of the year they were at strategic support and kept growing, and you see where they are at the end of the year. And so we are excited about the direction that this is moving in. This is 1 year where we are working to make sure that all of our teachers know how to implement with fidelity our new literacy curriculum, but we know within a few years we're going to see the evidence of not only our teachers knowing how to implement it with fidelity, but students having been exposed to that curriculum for more than 1 year. Our next piece of data is regarding MAP, the measures of academic progress. We've been giving this assessment for years. This is our reading data. I've provided both the data on the students meeting at or above 61st percentile, as well as the 50th percentile, and I want to share why. AMIRA, as you saw, the groups are 25, 25, 50, 50 and above. When a student is at 50 or above, they are on track. And so one of the things our team wanted to know is whether or not the data we were seeing from AMIRA, we could triangulate that and see it on another external data source to know that we were moving in the right direction. And so we pulled that 50th percentile data as well as the 61st percentile, which is the measure that we've always used. And so you can see here from 2021 to 2023-24, you'll see that everyone is moving in the right direction. More modest gains in reading compared to math that I'll show you in a moment, which is an expectation with the first year of a new curriculum. The second chart really shows you growth. So after students take the assessment in the fall, there is a growth target for students to meet in the winter. They take it 3 times a year, fall, winter, and spring. And so the second chart shows you the percentage of students across Baltimore County Public Schools that met their growth target for the first half of the year. This chart shows you mathematics for measures of academic progress. You'll note, because we do not need the 50% for AMIRA, only sharing with you the 61st percentile for spring, although can confirm both 50th and 61st percentile for math went up. But you'll see pretty significant gains in terms of our student performance from 21 to 22, but 22 to 23, 24 school year. 44.74% of our students, which are met the 61st percentile or above in our schools. And then you'll also see commensurate gains in terms of the percentage of students that met their growth target from fall to winter for math. This work is under the direction of Kasela Mashenda, the former director of mathematics. Her coordinators, Emily Davidi for elementary school, and our secondary school, Laura Potter, and they have a great team working with them. So the last part of this presentation is about the what. What did we invest in? What did we focus our time on that led to some of those results? And this is, organized by our 4 priority areas. So the first 2 slides really speak to the focus on teaching and learning. So grateful for having partners in the Board of Education, County Council, as well as the County Executive that passed our FY25 budget that allows us to focus on reducing classes in grades 3 through 5, providing more supports to our special education students, really focusing on our elementary math, ESOL, special area teachers, and continuing our virtual learning academy. We also are going to be expanding greatly access to full-day pre-kindergarten programs for our students across our schools to make sure that there's more equitable opportunities for our students to learn. Also, as if you will recall, the first marker is kindergarten readiness. Students develop that sense of kindergarten readiness based on their preparation in pre-K. So the more students that we're able to provide full-day seats to, the more opportunities we're giving our students to demonstrate readiness and to experience success throughout their career in Baltimore County Public Schools. Shared before, our first year of implementation of HMH into reading for elementary school students to build that strong foundation focused on the science of reading and to help us move that student achievement in literacy. We've also committed to ourselves as a school district providing comprehensive science of reading training to all of our elementary school teachers. This has helped to improve early literacy skills acquisition and really helped us to focus on our striving readers in our schools. We have strengthened our English language development program. We have a director of ESOL and world languages. Very excited that we are able to bring on a director of multilingual achievement for them to work together this year to really focus on our students that we had our students moved back to their home schools so they could access all of the opportunities that were available at the home schools, and we're excited that we're serving more than, we will be in the fall serving more than 3,000 students, multilingual learners at their home schools, and the additional staffing that we're providing across schools to meet the student needs. We're able to unveil a strategic roadmap for special education, really focused on the needs that we saw across our schools, kindergarten through 12, and really working with all of our stakeholders to make sure that we're moving in the right direction from the onset of students demonstrating that they need support in special education. Continued investments in fine arts. We have the 19th consecutive Best Communities for Music as Education Designation Award from the NAM Foundation. 5 of our high schools ranked among the best 30 in Maryland. 3 ranked among the state's top 5 magnet schools. And the #1 school, best high school in the state of Maryland, was Eastern Tech, which is right here in Baltimore County. And we continue to expand our academic resources and programs to support on-time graduation for our students and dropout prevention based on the data that we have so far on the number of students who've already crossed the stage. For the last few weeks, that data looks pretty promising, and so we're excited about what's to come this upcoming fall when we receive that data back from the state. When we move to safety and climate, as we've been saying all year, we know that people need to feel safe. People need to have their needs met in order to focus on teaching and learning. And so we were pleased. I shared with you that we've addressed safety and climate in a variety of ways, both the technical needs as well as the adaptive needs for our staff, whether it was really focusing on chronic absenteeism and reducing barriers to coming to school, expanding student and staff access to mental health resources. For our middle schools, we had a Cigna pilot. For all of our high schools, we have Talkspace, but we also have a robust program for our staff members to address their mental health needs as well. Having OmniAlert operational in all of our schools across Team BCPS to help with the internal and external cameras, the expansion of our safety assistant program, moving that over to our operating budget, and including a new elementary school model has helped us. We have installed portable open gate detection systems for all of our high schools to make sure that our athletic events are safe. We also have one at Meadowwood, and we will have another one at Rosedale in the fall. We have continued to expand our security vestibules in schools for an added layer of protection and safety in our schools for students and staff. Under the direction of Dr. Lewis, we were also able to, Jamie Hetzler, our Director of Food and Nutrition Services, as a direct result of her commitment to students, all students having meals and greater efficiency in all of our schools. We were able to leverage that enterprise funding to provide free meals, breakfast and lunch to all of our schools every single day throughout the year, and excited about the summer programs, the 2 different options that we have for our students. We expanded our community school programs and are excited for the upcoming year. We will have more than 75 community schools in our school system. Dr. Grimm and Dr. Koth, they worked to help us to revamp our BCPS stakeholder climate survey so that we could receive more results and really hear from our stakeholders. That resulted in the highest number of respondents ever in Baltimore County Public Schools and an increase of more than 20,000 respondents from last year. Infrastructure, we were really focused on maximizing efficiency. We gave everyone, all divisions, license to really examine processes and procedures that perhaps served us well in the past, that no longer serve us well, that sometimes serve to add barriers and reduce our responsiveness to internal and external stakeholders. We also, based on approval from the board, we're very excited to have the first year of launching the Oracle Cloud ERP implementation project. This project is so important and critical to how we do business and making sure that we have high quality of data integrity. 3 chiefs are working on it. 3 divisions have come together. Mr. Pedro Augusto, you have Mr. Homer McCall, and Mr. Chris Hartlove, all working throughout the year with a very robust team to make sure that we are moving forward in the right way and making sure that we're going to meet all of our timelines. Revamping transportation services greatly because of Dr. Jess Grimm. This helped us to decrease vacancy rates, increase on-time arrivals, and all of our stakeholders had that information right at their fingertips as we rolled out the app that more than, I think we had 80,000 families that were able to sign on and use that information so students could know what to expect, as well as parents and guardians on a regular basis. We implemented a project to move over to UKG Ready. That helps us to ensure consistent management processes for timekeeping in Baltimore County Public Schools, continue to review internal processes across divisions, and gather stakeholder feedback just in a variety of ways throughout the year, which will continue, whether it's advisories that chiefs have, advisories that I have, or surveys or community events to directly interact with our stakeholders and address their needs and hear from them. And our last area, highly effective teachers, leaders, and staff. As we shared, we can't do any of this work without people. People in our schools, as well as in central office and operations, they make all the difference in the work that we're able to do. Very excited that we have a new compressed salary scale. Our teacher starting salary at $60,000 places us among the top in the state. We have standardized step increases and increased career earnings. So not only our teachers, but all of our staff can have just the stability that they need for the next 3 years, that they're not worried about what this is going to mean for them and their families. So we can all turn our attention and efforts to teaching and learning and what our students need in our schools, increase the number of Baltimore County Public Schools teachers achieving national board certification this year, implemented a comprehensive and innovative staff recruiting plan in partnership with county governments and all of our universities that we had an opportunity to meet directly with all of our university presidents a variety, several times, to not only fortify our existing teacher pipeline, but also to think about different types of cohorts. As the landscape changes and we have more needs with related service providers and things of that nature, really partnering with our universities to provide a through line for our staff members to move up in our system and to receive the training that they need. We launched, in collaboration with county and government, the Diverse Teacher Recruitment Scholarship. It's a $1 million grant program. This is directly aligned with the blueprint for Maryland and the expectations for all school systems across the state. Several honors continued for educators this school year. A few on the slide. The CDC Science Ambassador Fellow is a teacher in Baltimore County. Maryland finalists for 2024 Presidential Awards for Excellence in Mathematics and Science Teaching. We have the STEM Educator of the Year, the School Nurse of the Year, the Latinx Educator of the Year, MSEA's Minority Recognition Award and Education recipient. We have a teacher apprentice program for our paraeducators that hold bachelor's degrees. This helps them to become professionally certified teachers, and we created a certification cohort for ESOL and special education teachers, two areas where we have needs, and so we want to grow our own internally of paraeducators as well as general ed teachers who are interested in additional certifications under the direction, and we're very excited for Dr. Berquist, who is our executive director for employee development, really launched the reintroduction of system-wide professional learning communities in our schools as well as in our offices. And we are already poised to provide more than 30 days of system-wide professional development for our school-based and central office employees this summer. We're very excited about that work because, as I shared when I shared that data with you, that high quality instructional materials coupled with that professional learning, that's what's going to make the true difference across all groups of students in all of our schools. And it's going to help us to sustain those efforts in Team BCPS. And so we want to let you know what's next. We're going to continue working. So just because the students aren't in our schoolhouses for about 2 weeks or so, we are still showing up to work and still moving forward. So this next year you can expect high quality summer and school year professional learning for our staff. We're so excited to have 5-day summer programs with true partners this summer that's going to help us really focusing on literacy and mathematics for our students, our continued community engagement with a variety of events throughout the school year, including a partnership fair this summer at Newtown High School. We will, in the fall, launch front-facing school dashboards so our public can see for themselves what does staffing look like, how are we doing in our schools. That information is not going to be a mystery. You can take a look whenever you want to see it. Expansion of pre-K and community school. We're very excited about what that means for our students and our communities. We are going to be introducing safety assistant team leads that are going to be working in different zones to provide even more training to our safety assistants, monitoring, stepping in when there's a need and someone needs to take leave to just continue to round out that program. Our secondary literacy curriculum pilot in our high schools and middle schools. We're excited about that. We're excited about the board approval just last week when we met of our new ESOL curriculum. So we're looking forward to that implementation and to see the difference that that makes for our students in our schools. And we're going to continue moving forward with construction. We're going to be opening this fall the new Bedford Elementary School and the new building with more seats, and the new Nottingham Middle School, which is new for us as a school system. We're really very excited about the year to come for BCPS. So we won't be taking too much of a break this summer because we have to be ready for our students that show up in the fall. And so that's really it. Our year in review, what we've been, that's it. You giggle. Okay, maybe it's a lot. This has been truly a heavy lift, and I would be remiss if I did not thank my team that have stood with me hand in hand all year to move this work forward in just a variety of ways. Most of them are seated in the back. We have Miss Mildred Charlie Green, Chief of Staff. We have Mr. Pedro Augusto, Chief Information Technology, Homer McCall, Chief of Human Resources, Dr. Jess Grimm, Chief Operating Officer. We have Dr. Jones, Chief of Schools, Mr. Hartlove, Chief of Finance, and somebody who has done a heavy lift who is unable to join us today, Dr. DiDonato, Chief Academic Officer. These people have worked tirelessly, and we've been on the phone day and night and weekend in and out, every facet of the school system to get this work done. So the work is not done. We have a lot of work ahead of us. And as I said, the data trends are promising, but I want us to level set that the same way that it took more than a decade to get to where we are as a school system, it's going to take us some time to move back to that place at the top of the state. But everybody is working, everybody's working hard, and more importantly, we're working together, and we have open, honest, very frequent communication, and I think that's making the difference. And all of your ongoing support has made a difference for us and the direction that we're able to move in for our students. So I want to thank you all for being here today and look forward to more to come. Thank you.
Thank you all once again for joining us this morning. That concludes Dr. Rogers' presentation on our end of year highlights. I know we have some members of the media. If you have specific questions, please see myself or Mr. Charlie Herndon in the back of the room, and we can get you the information that you need. We are going to share out the one-pager with our members of the Team BCPS community, as well as the slides. So you'll have a chance to review this all summer long and celebrate with us these amazing accomplishments. But as Dr. Rogers said, the work continues for us, and we look forward to having you all back to provide more updates on the efforts of the school system. So thank you all. Be safe. Happy summer, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Oh, and I am so sorry. I forgot to recognize Mr. Kenny Brown, who is representing Senator Ben Brooks. Thank you for joining us. He snuck in a little later, so thank you, sir. Welcome. All right. Have a wonderful day, all. Take care.